But all right, let's get into the economic calendar and see what's going on. Obviously, tensions are going crazy right now in Eastern Europe. Supposedly, it sounds like they're open to negotiations right now, but we'll see about that. But I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram story, did you?
I saw part of it. I'm not sure if you posted something else.
With all those Ukrainians?
Oh, in the supermarket?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
So with a bridal shower, the guy doesn't go, right? The tradition is you drop her off in front and she goes and has a good day. And I dropped her off and then I went over to the store real quick to pick up some food and beer and stuff like that, and ended up coming across this, and I'm just like, holy shit, it gets you emotional. Like it feels like a Holocaust memorial or something like that. But it was pretty special. They were all on the news. They had like news cameras and stuff out there too. It was pretty cool. But anyway, looking over here at the economic calendar, it's NFP week. I have a love-hate relationship with NFP week because it's normally very slow, very rangy until NFP, and then let's say you have a dud of an NFP and price just doesn't move at all. So it almost feels like a waste of a week sometimes. Plus, it's the first week of the month also. So first week of the month, you're just kind of setting up, trying to see what's going on. Same exact thing with the week, right? Where the Monday, it's kind of a slow day. Sunday, Monday is kind of a slow day. Gearing up for the week, seeing what's going on. It's the same exact thing for the monthly, right? So that's what we have this week. We have NFP, but before NFP, we got a couple data points coming out. That's Chicago PMI, stuff like that. We have RBA rate statement coming out. So we'll see. You saw that the Bank of New Zealand last week raised their interest rates. So we'll see if the Bank of Australia does the same, right? So again, not much going on today. As you guys can see, we have a ranging market for both GJ and gold. So it may be difficult to catch a trade today, but that's okay. You got to be completely content not taking trades through a day and being fine with that. Moving into tomorrow, we got manufacturing PMI day, right? All these major countries, Euro, Great Britain, US, ISM manufacturing PMI, Canadian dollar has their GDP coming out month to month, right? And then you get some MPC members speaking tomorrow as well. So we'll see what they have to say about raising interest rates again, anything going on with the economy. We'll see. Australian dollar, they got their GDP as well coming out. So we got a lot of Australian dollar stats coming out early this week. So that's Tuesday. Moving into Wednesday, we have ADP, right? This is our little, normally, I don't want to say normally, but a lot of times this does not equate to what NFP ends up being, right? A lot of times these numbers are off. We've seen that in the last couple of months, right? So we have ADP, but nonetheless, that could be a nice market mover. So we'll see if it is and see if we can get some moves on Wednesday. But after that, about an hour and 15 minutes after that, you got Bullard is going to be speaking. He's somebody that's been very hawkish on raising interest rates. So we'll see what he has to say. You have Powell testifying. We'll see if he has any surprising outlook on the market, especially with what's going on in Eastern Europe, and if that could spark World War III. Is he not going to increase rates, especially after the market tanked, right? We have a very bearish market right now. So we'll see if he ends up now still comfortable raising rates after all this is going on, right? Moving into Thursday, unemployment, right? And every Thursday we got unemployment coming out. We have pretty solid unemployment and pretty solid numbers the past couple of weeks coming out of the U.S. as well. We haven't had any crazy surprise numbers, bad numbers coming out of the U.S., so that's been good. It looks like we're trying to recover, and there's no hiccups. Again, we have Powell testifying and ISM services PMI. Not to mention, we have services PMI coming out of Europe and Great Britain as well. So that's something that you guys want to take a look at. Moving into Friday, again, NFP. And again, I said it before, but every single week that you have NFP in the beginning of the month, you get a lot of slow markets. You get a lot of ranging. And again, I have like a love-hate relationship with it because some weeks is great. Some NFP weeks are amazing, and some are just complete duds. So we'll see what this week is. Right now, obviously, we're ranging. I'll break that down in a second. But let me say hello to Chris real quick. What's up, brother? How was your weekend?
Morning. Weekend was good. How was yours, bro?
Doing great, man. Doing great. It was a good one. Yo, I had a quick question for you. So, you do you have the online magic keys?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't. Okay. Would that be something that would help you? The one on screen because you're always remote.
The one on screen.
So Magic Keys came up with, obviously they have the hardware, right? This Magic Keys box, but they also came out with the one on screen. So it's like a window on your screen, and you could just pull it on your screen, and you can basically trade like that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Is that
Yeah,
new?
they have that. So Tiffany might have something for you if you're interested in that.
Yes.
I think she'll shoot you a message, or you guys can talk right now.
Say it again.
What was that?
You said you're gonna shoot me a link to it.
No, I'm saying Tiffany. Either you guys can talk about it right now, or I think she's gonna shoot you a message. She may have something for you.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Yes,
sir. I thought that would come in handy for you since you're always remote and you're definitely someone that deserves it. You definitely work hard. I saw you getting after it in the fitness channel this morning.
Yes, sir.
Good shit. I'll be back at it tomorrow morning because we were up till I think like 1 in the morning trying to organize all the shit that we got, like how bridal showers are. You get all these things, and we basically had to turn our whole kitchen upside down and replace all these things that we just got. So it was not a good time to do that, but I'm not going to be doing that during the week, so we had to get it done. But let's get into the charts. GJ, we're going to move this over here. So obviously it looks like we're breaking 156 again, and today's the last day of the month, so we may be closing below 156 as we know. So we had that multi-year downtrend. You guys know how that works. And then we got our bullish trend since COVID. But more importantly, support and resistance of 149 and 156. All right. So we said last week when price was kind of like up here, we were saying that, let's see if we end up, breaking back down, because the last 5 months or for the last 4 months, we've been closing right below this level, right? Previous resistance over here. So are we going to close below? It pretty much looks like it. So we'll see if we end up even holding support in here, right? To maybe continue to drive back up, or we just continue to drive back down and price just comes right back down to 149 again if we get further tensions in the world and a worse economy for Great Britain and more people pulling their money into the Japanese yen. Looking at the weekly, we had a little gap, and not only a gap, but this is what you call a bullish big bell, where you get this bearish candle closing up here at this price point, 154, 750, I would say. It looks like we just filled the gap over here, but this candle opened up all the way down here, and it's bullish. So if this candle closes bullish like this, we could be continuing right back up with, again, a bullish big bell. You had a small one over here, and look what ended up happening. You had a small one up here, and, gradually started to come up. We had to retap this level again, and it doesn't mean that it's always going to happen either, but it is a good indicator. And this is actually the biggest one we've seen on the weekly in a long time. So could this end up continuing right back up from here? It's just a little indicator for you. It doesn't mean it's definitely going to be happening. But let's actually mark off some of these levels over here. Mark off that current level, 153,300. Price opened up exactly at 153,300 over here. So now let's see if we hold that support and continue up, because we did over here, and this is what happened last time we were here, right? So we're here again, and we're bouncing off this trend line as well. Bouncing off this key area. We'll see if we continue up from here. But right now we are ranging. Looking at the weekly, again, opened up all the way down here, and now it's a very bullish candle. So it gets a little tricky as far as breaking down the lower time frames, but we'll certainly be doing it. I'm actually going to mark off 158. And 157. Candle body closes. Key areas 156, 57. And that's about it. Unless you want to mark off 155 over here. Let's see a key level, which we could be approaching very soon. That's almost perfect. Around 4 hour. So right now, price is obviously sitting between 155 and 153,300, right? We can also narrow this down to even smaller range over here, but right now we just bounced off this level. Big bullish, big belt over here. So could we be pushing up from here? So far, what it looks like, that we'll have safer buys once we break 155 over here, right? You had pretty messy price action on its way over here, and now it got a little bit nicer end of last week, right? Where we continued to crash all the way down here. These candles got bigger, the wicks got smaller, so it got a little bit cleaner, but now we're kind of holding like a double bottom in this range over here to possibly continue right back up. All right, 1 hour. Excuse me. All right, so now we see we're sitting between 154 and 155, right? So we were able to narrow that range down a little bit, but we've seen that since tapping into 154, we opened up down here. We've already filled the gap with this move over here, but we created this high. We come right back down to retest 154 over here, hold support, and we've been gradually making our way up here. And I think Tiffany was able to catch some of these moves. Yeah, you got about a 70 pip range in here. So we got a lot of liquidity in this market right now, which is good. I want to see if there's any valid trends. So you had this little trend line over here, pushing all the way down here, holding support. Now we kind of broke out of it. Now we're holding support over here. So we'll see if we're able to break out. To be honest with you, I don't even want to keep that there. We'll just focus on support resistance. So now what it looks like is safe buys above 155. Looking at the 30-minute, now we're able to narrow down a little bit. We just got a hard rejection, just like we did over here, right? Price holding resistance over here. We just got a hard bearish candle over here, weak bullish candle formed over here. We are still respecting bullish structure right here, so maybe it wouldn't be that good of an idea to take sells until maybe you break this level, right? Or safer sells will be below this level. But this is the move I'm really looking for, right? Keep in mind, again, it's NFP week. You don't have to trade it today, right? You don't have to take trades every single day or every single session. You could just sit out if you're not comfortable with the current price action, right? Is anybody looking for a trade right now on GJ?
Well, not now.
Okay. And Tiff, what you want to break down like your entries and everything and what you were looking at before we move to gold?
Just give me a second.
Sure. No rush. Again, we got ranging markets right now, so it's got plenty of time to
Okay. So if you go down to the 5-minute time frame, I had made a trend line going upward. The 2 bounces off the trend line is a double bottom.
Guessing
And
this is your
I-
trend line.
Yeah. So the trend number 1 confirmed, the trend line confirmed the upward movement for me. And I got in just at the uprise of the pullback. And I've been riding since.
Okay, which pullback? This one, this one, this one.
So the full pullback for me that I saw was 154.512.
5.
But when I got in just above 154.567.
560. Oh, nice. Right around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just waiting for this pullback to complete to add a position up.
So that, I'm sorry, that price point,
Mhm.
was that for you, for your liquidity provider, was that passing the high of this bearish candle?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like that because if you are trading the 5-minute, but you have this pullback, right? Price holding support right here and price bounces off. So we respected this support so far, right? And we had a previous high created. So we push up from this level and create this high and then a higher low right around here, right? Then we come right back up to retest the high. The only thing is we have this resistance over here. So you get that 5 o'clock push over here. If you're comfortable with this, you have this support holding. So again, you get another higher low holding in this area over here. Price is kind of ranging. And then it looks like, you know, we came up, retested that resistance right there. We come down to retest this low over here. And you see that we ended up holding support. Big rejection, weak bullish candle or weak bearish candle, right body with a longer wick. This candle, the only thing is doesn't have a bottom wick. So the first thing it did was just like push up at the 5 o'clock hour, which means that it never created a bottom wick on the 1 hour candle. Correct?
Correct.
So is that something you normally look for, or that doesn't bother you?
No, it's not something that I normally look for. It just so happens that price action looked really, really clear from the 5-minute. Damn. I think I missed my entry on the 1 hour. I sure did.
Well, this, you already took 2 trades?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is gonna be my last trade because it's going all the way up.
Okay. Well, I mean,
So
you wouldn't want your last trade during New York at least? The way I look at it is like if you come to the market every single day, I tell myself I have 2 opportunities to take a trade. That saves the hell out of anybody, including myself. So if you come to the market saying I have 2 trades, that's it. So when I do that, I'm asking myself when, like, what are the best case scenarios of me getting that opportunity? Is it during pre-New York or is it during New York when the New York market opens and then later on when the New York Stock Exchange opens, right? So those are the times you have big volume, especially during, if you're trading on a Monday, you're probably not going to have the volume that you have, you know, during pre-New York. Best case scenario, you're going to have volume during New York. You're going to have some opportunities at that point, right? Especially on the higher time frames where you're going to have a higher pip count that you can, or a bigger range that you could be trading in. So that's just the way I look at it. When I come to the market, 2 opportunities and that's it. That's it. So, and I stick to it. So I look for those opportunities more during like New York if I'm going to get them. But if I see my setup during pre-New York, I'm definitely taking them. Right now, what it looks like, I know what you're talking about over here. Again, the same exact thing that happened over here, where we ended up holding support, right? The same level, same exact thing is happening right over here.
Mhm,
We keep respecting this level over here, right?
mhm.
And you're looking for maybe a retest of this area over here, retest of the high up here at 155. Just keep in mind the higher time frames are stronger than the lower time frames. So you haven't gotten a rejection the way you did over here down here. I mean, besides right over here, but looking at the 30-minute, when was the last time you had a 30-minute bearish candle like that? You haven't. You've had weak body candles with bigger wicks. That's a hard rejection. And look what happened last time it was here. We gapped all the way down here. That was over the weekend, so that's a little bit different. But that's a strong 30-minute candle. And I could see what you're doing. You know, you see the support being held right over here. And we've been in this bullish trend all during pre-New York over here. So we could very well continue up. We're respecting this area over here. But it's kind of like 50-50. See the 1 hour. This was the 6 a.m. candle. It's a 7 a.m. candle. So it's a 7 a.m. candle. The 7 a.m. candle just opened up, right? So is it creating a top wick after a bearish candle like this? Right? Get the bearish candle like this. First 10 minutes of the 7 a.m. candle, are we creating a top wick to then start retracing and flipping bearish over here and continuing maybe down to here? Or are we going to hold support? And this is the only bottom wick that we're forming, and we're just coming right back up here. It's kind of like 50-50. But you're just so you know, you're coming back from a hard resistance over here. Now, I think it was Thursday that I took that gold trade. Remember gold rallied all the way up? We caught that whole move. It was like 500 pips. We caught on gold last week because of Russia and everything. And then we were on the live stream with Sharma, and we were at that resistance, and we created this high, and then we came right back down to create this low over here, right? Created support, right? And then I thought we could squeeze just a little bit more out of the move with the New York volume coming in, thinking that gold would continue to rise. But everything was priced in at that point, and then we retraced all the way back down to, I think it was 1900 again, right? At that point, we're at like 1970 something. So I thought we were going to be able to squeeze that move out of there. This is like another example of that, where we come up all during Sunday open and Monday pre-New York. We come all the way back up to this level, right? And you're trying to squeeze this out of the market, which you very well can. But again, you already took 2 trades over here. So maybe wait for like a better opportunity, if that makes sense.
Understood. Yeah.
Get what I'm saying? So again, I never tell you guys how to trade, or that's really what I am doing. But at the same time, like, I want you guys to think for yourselves, but I want to walk you through it so that you understand what you're actually doing. And maybe that'll give you a different perspective, saying, okay, wait a minute, maybe I should hold back here. I already took 2 trades. Were they 2 wins? Tiff?
Yeah, they were 2 wins.
2 wins. Beautiful.
However, the second trade wasn't as profitable as the first.
That's okay. But what percentage you up already?
I just started this account, by the way. Like, I decided to slow down with my funding account.
Okay.
I'm spending too much time with that and not paying attention to my own account. And then if God forbid something goes wrong, you take a bad trade with your funding account. It's like all your time was in vain. Just give me a second.
I get what you mean. What's the goal with the funding account?
What do you mean?
Like, you're saying that you were taking too much time on the funding account instead of your main account, but with that funding account, is the goal, like for me at least, the goal for like a funding company is to not be reliant on them as much as possible. So what I would want to do is grab my 80% profits that I'm making. You've already gotten a payout, right? Grab my 80% profits from these companies, put that into my own account, and then build up my own $50,000 account, build up my own $100,000 account without any of my hard-earned money earned from business or earned from anything else. So that now I just leverage them into my own $100,000 account. Now I could say goodbye to them, and this is all my own money. Now I'm trading with 100 grand, making a full-time living. So
That's the
is that the
plan.
goal for you?
That is definitely the plan.
Awesome. So
Just to answer your question, at 3%.
you're at 3%. So you just gained 3% on a Monday. Beautiful, right? What is your goal for the week?
I don't have goals like I don't I don't have goals like that. Maybe I should implement them. But
I would.
yeah, I never thought about it. I'm sorry. I don't know.
So you can, you don't even have to take this from me. Go on YouTube and watch professional traders on Wall Street or any kind of very successful, I'm talking millions a year, retail traders. They all have targets for the week. And once they reach that target or targets for the month, that's why you'll see retail traders trading from January to March, and they hit their profit target for the year and they go on vacation the rest of the year.
Nice.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know if I would be doing that because I just love to trade. But at the same time, they have these profit targets for the end of the week. And if they hit it on a Tuesday, they're done for the week. You could go chill out. You could go play with your daughter. You could sleep in a little bit. Right. But that's going to save you a lot from over trading and over risking. So that's a little lesson for today. But let's go over to GJ. Again, my main thing here with GJ is we'll see if we break these lows. Maybe you could take high risk sells over here. If we end up breaking over here, breaking this support, I don't know if I want to take that though, because we have been bullish. We have been creating higher highs, higher lows during the pre-New York market. I'm not saying that we're just going to completely reverse that today. But I want to see safe buys above, let's say 155, 100, somewhere up here. Once we break that, you got a clean move up here with plenty of liquidity, plenty of range coming back up to either 155, 500. This previous support over here, you could come up to 155, 800 or 156. All right, so that's what I'm looking for mainly on GJ. And if I don't get it, I'm not trading GJ. If I get something on gold, maybe I'll trade gold. All right, so looking back at gold again, we ended up retracing, right? We reached our highs up here at 19, we almost reached 2000, right? Almost reached 2000 over here. Last time we were in this area was September of 2020. So COVID year, getting into the end of summer over here, that was the last time we were in this area. All right, so that's a pretty big deal. So now we're retracing right back down to these candle body highs over here. So what I'm going to do is erase this. I'm going to draw some of our trends and our key levels. That's just breaking down the anatomy of the current monthly candle and how what we did here. And again, also, the monthly candle only really gets this big, right? This is a huge monthly candle because that was COVID, right? Another monthly candle, the Israel and Gaza and Palestine conflict over here, big monthly candle, huge monthly candle over here as well with very good NFP. Huge surprise with NFP. We had very good growth numbers over here in June of 2021, right? This past summer. So another one over here, but it's a huge wick, huge rejection where we had very good NFP, but we ended up rejecting over here with further fear in the market. Good NFP, and then we had the inflation, right? Ended up holding support. We'll draw 1680 right here. Ended up holding support at 1750. $18.30 ended up holding as a very strong resistance. But we just kept rejecting for months on end over here. Had a little fake out right there. You had this candle push all the way up to 1830 and then close below. This candle rejected it And then now, again, another huge monthly candle. They only get so big, right? What is the monthly candle going to push all the way up here and close up there? No. What you need to understand is the anatomy of any candle is where if it's a bullish candle, you'll come up, create a high, come right back down to retrace a little bit and create that top wick. So now are we going to end up filling that top wick after the next candle creates its bottom wick next month, March, and possibly fills that wick if we have further tensions, right? So right now, I'm just going to mark off a few other levels here. We have 19. You know what? I'm actually going to mark off 1910. 1910 has been more of that stronger level than 1900, and I'll show you what I mean. So 1910, it looks like on the monthly, unless we get some bullish move on gold, some more fear in the market, pumped in today, we're going to end up closing below this level, which were candle body highs, multiple rejections here to the left as well. Looking at the weekly, now you're starting to see how that 1910 level makes a little bit more sense. Got that resistance over here, got a support held over here, right? Couple rejections of this level over here, and then you had this wick push all the way up to 1975, which we'll mark off. We could end up filling that wick. And then it drove all the way back down, creating that top monthly wick and a very weak bullish candle over here, right? But it drove us right back below 1910. So this isn't strong enough of a candle for me to say, okay, we're definitely filling this wick. It's not like this candle is like this. See, if it was like that, and the next candle created a bottom wick and continued up, I could see that filling that wick. But the fact that it's so weak right here tells me that we could very well be creating a top wick in the beginning of the week, rejecting 1910, right? Flipping bearish and passing the low of that candle right there to continue down possibly, right? But we'll see. So far it's bullish. So that's just what we think. We need to go by what we see so far, which that kind of was what we see, but we'll see what we see on the daily. So now, again, now you see why that 1910 level is getting a little bit more relevant compared to 1900, which is right sitting right between this range. So that might be able to help you guys make more sense of breaking down gold. So now what we have is a support holding in this area, right? Previous rejection area over here. You have support holding, breaking down this range over here. You had a support held here, multiple rejections of 1900. That daily candle pushed all the way up to 1975, which is that move that we got during Asian session, I think on Wednesday. And then we pushed all the way back down this way over here and closing bearish. This candle ended up rejecting as well, closing below 1910. And this candle right now is very bullish with a top wick. But again, we're now starting to come back below 1910 over here. Oh my God, dude, Ukraine. So as you guys can see, we're just sitting in this range so far on the daily, sitting in the daily range. Right now, we're starting to get a little congested. You have this whole area. Again, we're sitting below 1910. We just had previous 4-hour candles close bearish, right? Where this candle, we held support here, pushed all the way up here, and then ended up rejecting this resistance right here. Next 4-hour candle closed bearish. This candle created a top wick, passed below that one, closed bearish. This candle is struggling to break the high of that candle over here. So is that candle, I mean, we still got 2 hours, or what is that, an hour and a half? Yeah, we still have an hour and a half for this 4-hour candle to close. So is it going to close bullish right here? or are we going to flip bearish to fill this wick, right? Or are we going to close a weak bullish candle somewhere around here? The next candle creates its top wick and then passes the low of that candle to fill that wick and continue right back down to 1883. What is this? Yeah, 1883, 1884, somewhere around here. All right, the 1 hour. Again, we held support over here, this 200 EMA, right? Pushed all the way up, but now we're kind of retesting 1910, holding this resistance right here. All right, we ended up pushing down from 1918, 1920, holding this resistance, which I'm just going to adjust. So just like we held this resistance over here, holding it again over here and push down. We kind of consolidated around 1910, pushed all the way down to create this low. So now we're coming up, possibly retesting this area to continue to drive right back down again, possibly. But as you guys know, we're printing sideways now. Now it gets a little bit harder to trade. This is where you lower your risk, especially on a Monday anyway, but you lower your risk a little bit and you act accordingly to see if we end up holding the current market structure. 30-minute, these candles are very weak. So it's not enough to tell you that these are, this is going to be a sell. But we do have this support here that we possibly can retest. But we need, multiple rejections of here with weak candles or a nice strong bearish candle. The next one creates a top wick, passes the low or breaks, flips bearish and continues right back down to here. Next thing we need to look for is how big is this range? Got about 100 pips in here. So you can easily grab 20 of those pips, all right, if you do get that. But you just need to be careful because these candles are very weak and we could very well hold support here and continue to drive up. Anyone have any questions? Anyone see anything differently?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not look. Are you looking for anything, Kat, as far as specifics and where price you think is going to go?
I'm still kind of analyzing it. I'm a little slower.
Yeah. Did that make sense to you, at least?
Yeah, I have some similar levels for sure.
Okay.
I'm just kind of analyzing structure in my own way and stuff like that.
I get it. It gets a little confusing, especially in here, because you have multiple rejections of this 1920 level. You have 1910 as a very high weekly and higher time frame level, monthly level as well. So you got to pay attention to that. You have this support holding with a strong bullish candle pushing all the way over here. So are we holding support here to continue up, or are we going to reject this level to continue down? That's why trading in a range is so hard, because everything's 50-50.
Right. I just see indecision at this moment.
Exactly. And this is, again, when you get confused, you don't want to trade in this, you don't have to. Because now, what do you got right here? And right here.
True.
Right? Now, the question is, can you hold on and not trade at all?
Right.
Can you actually put this black box there and say, no, I'm not trading that, and say goodbye? And then later on after the session, you go back and journal the trades that you missed in here. And once you start getting more and more comfortable with that, and you start entering some of them, if they make sense to you, if it's a setup that you like, you lower your risk, and eventually you start to get more and more comfortable. Now you can add that setup to your arsenal.
Right. Yeah.
But too many people don't have that patience to do that. They just start taking that trade right away. And that's why most fail. Chris, how about yourself, buddy? You looking for anything in here? You're muted.
Talking to me?
No, I was asking Chris real quick. I'll talk to you in a second, Tiff. What was that, Chris?
I'm looking for buys above that 1811 area, 1810 area. Or
You mean 1910?
Yeah, 19. I'm sorry.
1910? Okay, cool. So you're looking for, like a nice
1810,
break of this,
1811.
something like this.
Yeah.
Good shot. Dude, I just remember my dream last night that I was in the city and one of my cars got hijacked.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh my God, it felt so real. It felt so real. Oh man.
It's
Anyway.
creepy.
So Tiff, I know you already reached your profit target, but do you like anything on gold right now? You're muted. I'm gonna start saying that now because I know a lot of people start talking and they don't realize they're muted. But I do like this. We're creating this higher low over here, right? 4-hour candle is bullish. So can we be even more bullish? 1-hour candle holding this support. And not only that, but now this is why you zoom out too. You have this level right here. Previous resistance, rejection area, wick right there. And now we're holding support. So now we're going to continue up from here. You guys see that? So that doesn't mean like, oh my God, we're definitely holding support. I'm going to take a buy right now. It just gives you further confirmation. But now what I could see is between here and here is kind of like a range. We've ranged a lot in this whole area over here. So now what I do want, I think I'd be waiting for the same thing, 1910 to be broken and retested, and we can continue up with a cleaner move right here. Cleaner move right here, cleaner move. Kind of a cleaner move. That makes sense?
Can you repeat that?
Okay. So we have, do you see this level right here, Kat? Well, actually, even before that level, you see how price right now, since creating this bearish move, coming all the way down here, we've held support, created a higher low, and now it looks like we're maybe creating another higher low over here with this candle not passing the low of this candle right here, right? And we could be continuing up to fill these wicks and continue up from here. You see that?
Right.
Now, also, the reason why we're holding this support here is because we got a wick rejection of that area, another wick rejection of that area, resistance, rejection, and then another one right here. You see that?
Right.
So now that gives you further explanation of why we're holding support right here and not breaking down below and coming down here. Right? We're reacting to that area. But now, like I said, you're not just going to blindly take a buy right here because you see that support being held. What you're going to do is you're going to look to the left again and say, okay, what range are we in? Oh, wait a minute. We had a range from this level that I just pointed out all the way up to a very high psychological number, 1910, in here. Right? You have all these rejections. You had a support held over here, right? And now messy price action all in this whole area right here.
Right.
So you see that? So now what I would be looking for is kind of what Chris is looking for, is that break and retest in 1910 up to 1920 or 1918, this previous resistance. Because now once you break 1910, the moves get a little cleaner. Not the cleanest, but they get cleaner than they do in here.
Makes sense.
Get what I'm saying?
I definitely have that level marked off as well.
Awesome. So you're looking at the same thing.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I was kind of looking at was like at the 4 hour. I marked that level on the, I guess, around 1900-ish. So I was thinking if it does break below, that's like 100 pips
1900.
potentially. Yeah, but that's like a long way from here anyways. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it could very well
below
happen. You would just have to
1900.
wait a little bit longer. It's not like this is a 5 minute where you can easily wait for this candle to either close like a weak bullish candles, like somewhere around here with a long top wick. You have this wick to fill. You have this bearish momentum over here. Then the next candle creates its top wick and past the low of this one to continue down and fill this wick and continue down to retest this support, right?
Mhm.
Just like that setup we always look at. But this is the 4 hour, so you got to wait a little bit longer for that.
Mhm.
But you also can see that level that I marked off right here. You could see it even if you move it down a little bit. 1904, you have that rejection on the 4 hour too.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see that level on the 1 hour. There you go. Same thing. Resistance, support over here. It doesn't line up perfectly, right? But anything in here, as long as you know something like this, as long as you know, it's like, okay, my plan for this session is I'm probably going to stay out of this area. I'm going to wait for price to break out of that area. And honestly, if you want to do this, and then just wait for this.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been noticing how gold, that initial push, a lot of times already like it comes from within the range. So if you don't take that push from within the range, like your no trade range, then maybe you're gonna possibly just miss the move until later on in New York.
And that needs to be fine with you.
Right, unless I want to take it earlier.
If you
Because
want
I've
to
been noticing so many times that happens that I'm like, and then it's annoying because then I miss the move.
I get it. That's frustrating for any trader, but traders need to understand, especially like when first coming into the game or not being profitable yet, being break even, kind of still figuring out your way, figuring out what you like, what you don't like. You gotta understand that like you're gonna miss a lot of moves in the beginning, and you're gonna miss a lot of moves throughout your career as well. Right? That just happens. That's the nature of the game. But at least you're not losing. And eventually you're going to level up so that you can take those moves.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's the
Right. Hey, Chris, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How many moves were you missing in the beginning?
I was missing, just like Kat just said, I was missing all those moves that seem like if you take them in the no trade range, they would have worked out. I would miss them at the beginning, and then eventually, I'm a cowboy, so I start taking them. And with gold, it'll wick you out. Like taking those trades in the no trade range, they'll eventually wick you out in the long term. Like they do. Sometimes they work a lot because gold just pushes. But from my experience, go ahead, Steph.
No. Finish. I thought you were done. My bad.
I was gonna say through my experience, in the long run, if you talk about multiple trades, taking those trades in the range, you're gonna lose most of them, or break even most of them, or hit your stop loss because gold just wicks so much. Like a lot of the times it breaks out the range and it won't go back into the range, but also a lot of the times it also goes right back into the range. It'll break out, go back in to retest the high and break the high, or retest the low and break the low. So it's just tricky taking those trades in the range. Like they work sometimes, they do, but at the same time they can stab you in the back.
That's why I always say, like, you got to know the ranges to trade. And also, like, Chris, like, where would you say your confidence is compared to when you first started trading compared to now? So like when you first started trading in those ranges compared to now, you know what trade ranges to trade in. Get what I'm saying? Or get what I'm
Yeah. So
asking?
yeah. So I would say I'm much more confident now.
Yeah.
I would say those ranges. I would take more of those range trades when the market is clearly trending, as a clear direction is, and it's just in a small range, just waiting to break out. But I don't know. I really want to cut out taking trades in range completely. That's what I eventually want to, be at. Like, not let FOMO get to me on none of, if it's in the range, I don't want it. Like, that's what I, for my risk management to eventually be.
Right. No, it makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've definitely been avoided trading like in the range because of that reason, like trying to be diligent with my rules. But then I'm like, I'm not catching anything.
Yeah. I know.
It gets
And
frustrating.
you know what? Also, like, just, Steph always say, you don't want to tell anybody to look at the 5 minutes and the 1 minute, but with gold, the more back testing you do with the higher time frames, and then just comparing those higher time frames to the lower time frames and just the key levels on gold. The more back testing you do, you can catch some of those entries on the 5
Right,
minute
yeah.
near key levels, though, like our 1910s and 1900s, and that's the safest way. But I'm still back testing that and trying to get better with that.
It's a great point.
Yeah, I always try to keep those levels in mind too, because I mean, a bunch of people trade them for a reason, or keep them in mind for a reason.
100%. No, that's a great point, Chris. See, that's why, like, you always think of yourself as like a character in a video game, and you're just leveling up. And there's different levels that you need to reach to end up getting to the level where you can trade in some of these ranges. I'm not saying this, like, I wouldn't be trading in this, but at the same time, how you can catch those. Like I always say, like, you have a range right here, right? And price is just kind of like ranging in that range, right? And then we finally break out, but then it looks like we fake out and we come back into the range. We end up holding support, grabbing liquidity, and then we continue to rise out of that. Like, that takes a while to get used to and understand that happens on gold a lot. So it's okay to take a trade like that. But in the very beginning, you're not going to know that gold moves like that. And you're going to think this is a fake out, and you're going to say, no, I'm not trading this at all. Eventually, you start to catch that move. The more you see it, the more you backtest it. It's all just about training your eyes and gaining confidence. That's all trading is. And staying disciplined. Those 3 things.
Right.
But and a lot of it, unfortunately, takes time. But guess what? Doctors, to make a full-time living, go through 10 years of schooling to make good money, right? Lawyers too. They got to get their bar. They got to go to law school. They got to do all that stuff, right? It's not going to just like happen like that. You can increase the likelihood of shortening your period of becoming a full-time trader by back testing a lot, by studying your trades, journaling and everything. But eventually you level up. I hate that this is going on right now with me, because my time is so valuable as far as like using it for you guys and also using it for the driving and all that stuff in my own trading. But and it seems like I'm like leading by a bad example by not journaling. But in my mind, I've gotten to the point where, like, I don't need to journal my trades as much. My brain is like downloaded to the fact that I know what my setups look like. I know exactly what I'm looking for. And if it's a trade like that I'm really interested in, that I want to take, I'm going to end up looking at that and journaling it to see what's going on. But now, like, it's almost like a last thing for me to be doing is like in-depth journaling of my trades, because it feels like I don't have the time for it right now. I'm going to get back to it, but the past couple of weeks have just been nuts. But eventually, just so you guys know, you get to the point where, like, you're seeing these things and you are so confident in your trading that you really don't need to do that as much. I'm not saying you don't journal ever anymore, but if you have other things you got to be doing, like I'm managing 30 of you guys, hopping on Zooms with you guys and doing all these things. So that's a business within itself that I'm working on. So I have to sacrifice some of that time away from journaling. But again, I needed the journaling months ago or years ago. Now you're getting to the point where you don't need to journal as much. And it also comes to, Raquel always used to say, he's like, because I was always all about back testing every single day, 1 hour a day, all that stuff, which is what you guys should all be doing. But you get to a point, and this is what he was telling me, you get to a point where you only have to back test like once a week, right? You have to back test like once on a Saturday to get your eyes trained again. And again, it's like leading by a bad example. That's why I hate talking about this, but I'm just trying to be honest and transparent with you guys of where you guys are going to be at down the road. That makes sense?
No, I totally get you. I mean, I've heard that from several other mentors in the past too, and like it's just a different level. So I completely understand that for sure.
And it gives you, I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah, like it makes sense, like you've been doing something for so long, you don't always need to be like in the basics, but it is good to have like a little upkeep here and there.
Yeah. Like you'll probably notice me like with my journals moving forward with not as deep of a description, right? Like you have a great description in your Trello for each card, very in-depth, which is what I was always doing. You guys saw a whole lengthy description of all my journals. Now I really only need the screenshots and a couple little notes jotted down for for the trade, especially as far as the fundamentals go.
Right.
Is that gold on the move?
It's still sitting in this range, sitting right below 1910. It did hold a nice support over here, heading right up here. But again, it's look what happened last time. It was in this range over here. Like we pushed all the way up to 1910 right here, and then we just rejected all the way back down. So I think above 1910, being that's that monthly and weekly level. Look at that. We're sitting right at that level right now. It's a nice daily candle, though. I could see this daily candle closing the way it does right here. The next candle creating a bottom wick, flipping bullish, and filling this wick. Right? Especially if it closes strong like this. And then you can catch this on the lower time frames by watching, some of the price action in here continue up. But just know that I think that next daily candle will definitely be rejecting 1910. Let's say we close around here. We'll definitely reject 1910, create a bottom wick. And then once we break 1910 again tomorrow, then we can grab this whole move right here. 200 pips. That wick is. But going back to GJ now. GJ again, rejecting that level over here. We're breaking this little support on the 30-minute. But are we going to close below? All right. So does anyone have any questions?
Not yet.
Not yet. So I'll be getting to all your DMs after the stream and throughout today, going up to the city at 12. So I'll be able to get to a lot of them then and go through some of your Trellos. But this week I want, Chris, did we talk about the AARs? We still got to hop on our Zoom.
Yeah, we still got to get on.
Okay. What are your plans today?
Today, I'm free today. I don't got nothing with CJ today. So, yeah, Mondays, I'm free.
Are you really? Every
Yep.
Monday?
Yep. After school, I don't have nothing on Monday.
Oh, after school. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we'll be able to hop on probably when I'm up in the city. I'll be able to know my schedule when I'm up there a little bit better. But then I'll reach out to you. So I have that written down. And then Tiffany, you were talking about your Trello that you wanted me to check out. You did some back testing this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to just send me a link to your Trello?
Yeah, you got it. I made it public, so you should be able to go in.
Okay. So just send me a link to it in our DMs, unless it's already in there. I don't want to pull up our private DM on here.
I got you. I'm missing it now.
Let me see if it's in here.
Copy.
I don't see it in our thing.
All right, just give me.
Sure. Yeah, just send it when you get a chance, and I'll take a look at some of them today. And then let me know specific cards you want me to look at.
Okay, all the recent ones, DJ and gold. So yesterday and today. That's pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. No, I'm about to go downstairs. Yeah. How you doing?
Yesterday. Today. And Tiff, you have all your trades straight on from this morning?
Not all of them.
Not all of them? Okay.
The first position I took for GJ, I did. It's there.
Okay, perfect. So they'll probably be journal by the time I get to it. So that'll so there's no rush, but I'll let you know when I do.
Okay. I have one more trade for the day. I don't know. But GJ right now, isn't it supposed to pull back into, and if you said it, excuse me, I must have missed it.
Hey, you're good.
Trying to get my daughter ready for school, but isn't GJ supposed to pull back into what price area is this? 14670 area.
154,670. Well, I could see it actually pulling back below that. I could see it pulling back to maybe 600 right over here and holding this support, and then maybe continuing up again during New York. Right. But we got to see how New York reacts to the market. Like, it's the first trading day of the week. So, and also the last trading day of the month. So this is a day that you really take it easy, as far as your trading goes. So I'm completely content staying out today, but I could definitely see something like this happening where we continue our bullish trend over here. And we pull back a little bit before New York. New York's going to open in 9 minutes. We get that bottom wick formed on the 1 hour. The next 4 hour candle probably needs to create a bottom wick anyway, right? So let's say we close like this, next 4 hour candle in an hour closes or opens, and we create a bottom wick, and then we maybe fill this wick up here, or we get another rejection over here, and price comes right back down to 154.200.
God forbid. Okay, I'm banking on it going up. So
because what?
I said I'm banking on it. My analysis is with price shooting above this area here.
Okay.
Out of the zone, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Now that I have the Magic 6, I feel a little bit more comfortable with placing my trade and knowing that I can move to break even and then drop my kid to school. So
absolutely, get more confident.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So this candle was about 28 pips on gold. We were still kind of sitting in this whole area right below 1910. So we'll see how it reacts in 1910. Let me use the bathroom real quick. See what happens on GJ here. Cool. All right, be right back. All right, guys or ladies. So we are now breaking below the support over here on DJ, but sorry. The 1 hour is going to close in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So right now we're also rejecting 1910 on gold, but I would expect further movement, further bullish movement on gold. Where is it? With stock markets opening up kind of weak right now. All right, this is real time. We are below. We're basically down 1% on the day. Same thing with the stock S&P 500, the UK 100. So obviously GJ might be a little bearish, and commodities could be up. So we're up 1% on the day for gold right now. I love that website. See if we have any headlines. This is interesting right here. This is what I was talking about. Like, what if the Fed doesn't increase rates because of what's going on right now? And we see further inflation. Oh, man. Right before market open, prices shoots up on gold. So we're right above where we want. This is exactly what we want, right? So let's see if we get a retest of 1910 or a bottom wick formed as soon as the market opens, 8 o'clock, and then we end up grabbing a move up to 1920. But again, further fear in the market going on right now. But if you guys are like uncomfortable with gold, you guys are still trying to learn gold and understand the way it moves here, I think you'll have even safer buys above 1920 here with a clean move to the left. Then we know we're probably heading up. See how we're just kind of ranging on the higher time frames? 1 hour candle just closed a very strong bullish candle. So we'll see if we get that bottom wick formed, or even like a retest of 1910, which will be nice. We continue up. Now GJ closed below this area, which is what we talked about. You see what I was talking about, Tiffany? How we were rejecting this area, and this candle in the first, this was 709. We were talking about this, where we were creating this top wick over here. We could possibly flip bearish, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Only thing is this candle closed with no bottom wick, and this candle passed the low right away. So were we just coming down right here to hold support, get that further pullback now to 154 600, hold support right here, and then continue up? We got some
It's downstairs. Did you brush your teeth?
I don't know about you guys. I love these videos from Chris.
Me too.
They're great.
Hey man, top of the morning, man. Ladies, hey man, I'm back. Okay, let's get it in, man. Let's get it in, man. 1% of the time, baby. 1 day at a time, baby. Hey,
Love it. Love it. All right, we're getting that pulled back down to 1910 over here. We'll see if we hold support. And this is where you can go down to some of the lower time frames here and see how we're reacting to it. I'd like to see a support formed. But you guys see how sometimes we get like, we'll get this push the way we just got right here at 7:57, 7:58, right before the 8 o'clock open, or the 7 o'clock close, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes we get that push around 8:15, right? Or 8 o'clock, or 8:05, 8:06, 8:10. And those are the things that you want to pay attention to, especially as a scalper. If you're a swing trader, you really don't need that. You don't need to understand that. But as a scalper, and as a volume trader, you guys are looking for those volume pushes in and out. That's what you want to pay attention to. So any questions yet? You want to go over anything before the week?
Sorry, I'll kind of be in and out as well. I have to figure out the same thing that I was trying to figure out on Friday. I've had no luck.
With what?
I just need to figure out some tax stuff with tax season and
True.
and so annoying.
100%. Let's see. So, but the 5 things to start your day. from Bloomberg we could go over right now while we're watching both our pairs. Russia isolated, markets drop, commodities surge again. So that gives you further confirmation that we may see some bullish movement on gold further. Russian and Ukrainian officials are meeting this morning for talks aimed at ending the 4-day-old war. President Zelensky said he did not believe much would come of the meeting. The costs for Russia are rapidly rising as Western nations impose more stringent sanctions on the country's financial sector. Yeah, they're doing everything short of taking them off of SWIFT, which is basically like sanctioning their central bank and taking them off the global market chain, which would basically crush Russia. That institution hiked its key rate from 9.5% to 20% in an attempt to halt a plunge in the ruble. Ruble. Do you say ruble or ruble? I think it's ruble.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, we don't trade that currency anyway, so it don't matter to us. Let's see. The currency traded as low as 109 to the dollar this morning. It closed at 83 to the dollar on Friday. Wow. The central bank also announced there will be no trading of Russian stocks today. Was this this is today here? Okay. Exposure risks. Let's see. Uncertainty over the outlook and fears about exposures to Russian financial assets are hitting risk hard. Banks are leading declines in European stocks, with the category tumbling 5.5%, while the wider stocks 600 index had dropped 1.4% by 550 this morning. S&P futures also pointed to the drop to a drop at the open. Gold and treasuries are getting a haven bid. Yep, that's why we've seen this bullish movement. With the yield on the 10-year instrument trading at 1.916%. The dollar is rising against almost every peer, with the exception of the Swiss franc, as traders rush their to secure the liquidity. So basically, again, people are pulling their money into safe haven currencies. Now, as you can see, gold here, we're getting a little bit weaker here on the 5-minute. This candle closed a little bit weaker over here. So are we starting to turn the corner and hold support here? It looks like we may end up closing above the 1910 level on the 15-minute. Can we hold support here, creating a higher low, bullish close here, retest the high, and continue up to 1918? I could see it. That's what we've been looking for all morning. So we had our little consolidation during London. We surged up during pre-New York. Consolidation up. Consolidation during pre-New York. Surged up right before New York open. So now we'll be coming down to retest this whole level over here, hold support, and then we get that surge during New York open. Stock exchange open. So let's see. Yeah, maybe we consolidate in here for a second, and then we continue up before the stock exchange open. GJ is very indecisive right now too, so I may stay away from that unless we close below that level. 154, 730, 740. Is anyone looking at anything on GJ? Is this something you guys may be waiting for?
Yeah, I took a oh shit. I took a buy.
Bye.
Yeah, once it pulled back to its low.
Okay.
I took a
After closing with no bottom wick.
It has a bottom. It has a bottom wick.
No, I'm saying this candle. Like I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying there's no more momentum. All right, and possibly no momentum where price comes right back down to here, closes below that area, closes with no bottom wick. This candle passed the low right away, flips bullish. So there's with a bullish structure over here, higher highs, higher lows. We come down to retest this area. That's where you took the buy. Like I'm saying I see where you're coming from.
Oh, okay.
So when you get a close, like we got that close below that level here, it closed with no bottom wick, which tells us it's like 50-50. Like we could very well continue down, but at the same time, there's not as much momentum for price to push up. It doesn't have that wick to fill. So we could very well be holding support here in a bullish trend to continue up. So I see why you did that. I would have waited. I wouldn't have taken that, but that's you. That's your trading style. So we'll see how that works out. Look what we got. What's up, Miles?
Not
Good
too
morning.
much, man. What's going on? Morning. How was your weekend?
It was good, man. Eventful.
Good. I'm
A lot
glad.
going on. Too much going on, but it was nice.
Right on.
Good shit. So you I saw you did some back testing. I'm gonna be getting back to all your DMs when after the stream and throughout today.
Yeah. I got a good 4 hours in on Friday, and
Beautiful.
then yesterday, I got a couple hours in as well. 2 hours in yesterday, which is nice.
You just locked yourself in the office.
Sorry?
You just locked yourself in the office. You were just got into it.
Yeah.
Huh? It's the best
Yeah,
feeling.
exactly. Yes, sir.
Some of the best confidence boosters, at least for me, when I just lock myself in the office, throw my phone in the other side of the room, and just backtest for hours. The best feeling.
Mhm. Yeah, no, for sure. I think what I'll probably try and do what I'm trying to do, I think, is make it so that like each backtesting session, I'm trying to do at least a week, like a week or two in each backtesting session that I sit in. But right now it's more so like, cause I'm really just trying to like collect as much data as I can in terms of, my strategy and stuff. And then once I kind of have the stats and like the data I need to know, that my strategy is good, then I'll probably go back and then kind of treat it more like a live session in terms of, not fast forwarding and actually just, work on the trade management side of things.
Yeah, you're just training your eyes right now and trying to see
Exactly.
as many setups as you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool the amount of different styles of backtesting that you could do. You're doing this on Soft4fx or you're doing it on TradingView?
No, Soft4fx.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I like to do, my typical backtesting session is I'll have it on like real time as far as like fast forwarding, and I'll put it on times 11. And I'll have that going. It's fast, but it's not that fast. So all the way up until like we break the consolidation that it's in or something like that, or until like I think I'm about to see the setup. And then I'll slow it down to real time so that my mind gets completely used to and completely fine with just waiting for the setup to play out. And of course, like while I'm in the trade, it's at real time as well. Because that's where the emotions come in. And it's like, damn, I want to secure, especially if you're treating that account like a real account. I only am able to get through 2 or 3 sessions of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll take a couple hours.
Yeah. And like, that's what I did. Like I have done it that way before. I think the reason I'm just switching it up now is just so I can get basically the confidence from seeing that setup, so I don't have any doubt in terms of exactly what I'm looking for, and I can have the data at the back of my head to kind of support that. And then once I do that, then that's when I want to then go back to kind of how I was doing it before, which is essentially basically the same way that you were doing it, just kind of skipping through, but not too fast, but not too slow. And then once I see a potential setup, just slow it down to regular time.
100%. No, I like the way you're doing it right now, because as well, like also like after you take a week or two off where you need to get back into it, you need to gain your confidence back and see a bunch of setups. That's why it's good for what you're doing. Like I completely agree with how you're doing it. And then like you said, like in a week or two you're gonna get back to like the real back testing. And but to gain your confidence for a week, the more setups you see, especially if you have a nice in-depth journal that you could go back months and just look at a bunch of setups, or if you have that column on Trello of your setups with a bunch of examples for each setup, then looking at that is going to gain your confidence. It's like, wow, I've seen this many times before.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the live
For
mode.
sure.
It's good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Yes, sir, man. Got a lot of work to do this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I already did a full fundamental and technical breakdown, but just so that in your mind, it's the last day of the month and it's the first day of the week and it's NFP week. So all three of those things, it's kind of like, okay, I can sit back and watch the market a little bit. Now, just so you know, the market opened up pretty weak as far as like equities go. Obviously, Eastern Europe, everything going on right now. So you're going to see stronger commodities again. The only thing is with gold, do you trade gold or just GJ?
Gold is, yeah, I do trade gold, but I trade GJ way more, but gold is like my secondary pair that I also, yeah, I definitely follow gold for sure. Very
Just
closely.
like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like GJ is my main pair. Gold is like, I mean, I'm way more comfortable with gold now. Like gold was that thing where it's like, I'm learning it, on the side of GJ. Now it's almost like they're even, which is where you want to get to. And I'm very well sure you will be. But gold right now is 1910 over here has been a very significant level as far as like holding resistance here to the left, previous support when we were in our previous corrective area after COVID, right? So we held support over here, resistance over here, and now we ended up, I think this was Thursday, ended up coming all the way up during Wednesday Asian night, coming all the way up to 1975, which we caught like 500 pips on, and we ended up rejecting this whole area. I got stopped at break even down here. But we ended up closing below that 1910 level again. This candle pushed up above 1910, closed again, rejected again. So now what we have is this range right here that we're sitting in. But I do like this candle right here because you have a nice strong daily candle with a top wick to fill with the fundamentals behind you, knowing that obviously there's a lot of fear in the market still. So could we close above 1910 right here? Right, the next candle maybe comes back into this range, like what we were talking about before, ladies. Creates its bottom wick, and then we end up filling this wick right here, and that's 200 pips right there. Right. Mm-hmm. So again, we're creating like these higher lows. We are sitting in a range, but we have everything on our side as far as gold bulls to possibly be filling this wick over time. But most of our main focus is filling this wick up here, especially if we close above 1910 and we don't reject it again.
Gotcha. Let me know what you think. What you think of the way I saw it. Actually, now that you're down to the 4 hour, yeah, it looks pretty much exactly the same. I was thinking if you got like a close above like 1917, 700, basically where you have your 1920 level. If I got like a break and retest in that area, a continuation up to 927, and then secure partials, and then see if we can get all the way back up to 1970, or if it's just a quick scalp, and obviously just to the 1927, 1930 area.
Yeah, no, 100%. What we had here, I was just going to break this down for you too, is the reason I have this horizontal line here, 1900, right? Very psychological number. Mm-hmm. That's actually the number we've been focusing on the last 2 weeks. But as we've seen on some of the higher time frames, I've adjusted now, obviously seeing 1910 as a psychological number right here. 1900 is right here. Sorry, I thought that was 1900 again because we've been focusing on that for so long. But 1910 is our psychological number. That's why I have that horizontal line there. We are holding support at 1900 right here, which we can also mark off. But there's an area I want to point out to you that I was showing them and Chris before we had to hop off, was that after rejecting, right, everything got priced in with Russia and Ukraine, and we ended up coming all the way back down, right back into this range between 1910 and 1885 over here, or 1890, whatever you want to call it, where we held this resistance and we continue right back down to almost fill this wick over here. But we ended up holding support. We ended up holding the higher low, staying in this range over here. And then over time, last week, actually, no, this yesterday, we ended up pushing all the way up, creating this wick up here, very strong candle. Right now, we're holding a higher low over here, right? But the thing is, we're sitting in a type of range on the lower time frames. You'll be able to see it where as we came down to here to hold the support, following the rejection of this level and then this level once more. So 1920 is a strong level where we just rejected it again and pushed all the way down here. But the thing is, we're holding 1905 right here as such a strong level where you have this resistance, multiple rejections right here as well. And then we ended up holding support this morning, where right now, again, commodities are bullish. There's fear in the market right now. So we are creating these higher lows so far. But the thing is, right here is what I was saying to kind of like block off this whole range. So once we broke that, we were sitting in that before during pre-New York. I said, once we broke out of that, you know that we could very well break above here, above 1910, retest right here. And then this could be our move. Higher risk buys up to 1920. But once you break 1920, we got a beautiful move coming right up here with a clean move to the left. Right, but I do think that we're going to be able to grab possibly this move right here. But again, just so you know, it's the end of the month and beginning of the week and NFP week. You don't have to trade today. That's just the way I look at it. So tomorrow could be a day. Wednesday could definitely be a day. I was talking about it before when we were breaking down the economic calendar. It's like NFP is such a love-hate thing because some weeks are complete duds where, you know, we range all the way up to NFP or ADP on Wednesday, and then you have a dud of a number and the market doesn't do anything. And you're basically waiting that whole week to take that NFP trade and nothing happens. So, and then some weeks are great, but most of the time it ends up being a dud, especially because it's the first week of the month. So the month is starting to set up. So we're getting that pullback right now. Again, we got that higher low, but you guys just got to keep in mind that's that area that we're sitting in right here. Very hard resistance. So understanding the limitations of your trade, if you want to hold that support right over here and price pushes up, knowing that you're going to definitely be securing around 1920. So let's see how are we at, I think over here. 15-minute. Retesting these areas. We'll see if we reject this area again and hold support. See GJ. GJ is now rejecting this area because we did break below. So typically when I'm looking at this, we are in a bullish trend, right, on GJ, but we are rejecting, very similar to gold. We are rejecting this level, which is what we were talking about before. Now, typically when we have a support and we break support and close below, this doesn't mean that we're definitely going to continue down because we have no bottom wick, right? So what I like to do is I like to wait for the retest right here, and then I'll take this move down if I'm going to take it. You just got to be aware of this level right here. So maybe safe sells are going to be from this point right here. Once we start to break this wick all the way down into here. Now, the main thing that you want to do is see what the range is. Got about 21 pips in there. So that's good enough to trade in. You could easily grab 8 to 10 pips in that. So we'll see how we set up over here. Tiffany, how you doing with that buy?
I closed out in the very beginning. I made about 13 pips. So I closed out half and I just left the rest running. So I don't even know. I'm probably closed out at this point. Wait, I just saw that extra candlestick. Yeah, so my main positions possibly, I'm pretty sure they're closed at this point.
Okay, good. Yeah, again, like even before that, you were up by 3%, right? On a Monday. So you took that trade, you gained 13 pips, which is great. But like knowing, like I said, like you have limitations to your trade, like the individual trades, knowing the limitation of your day and just being content with that, right? Because you were able to, you beat 95% of people, right? You won today. So knowing that it's like, okay, live to see another day, bring your daughter to school, do what you got to do throughout the day, and then come back tomorrow ready to go. And because I've seen so many times it's happened to me in my career as well, where I'll be up 3 or 4%. I'll take another trade, all of a sudden I'll lose a lot of that percentage. I'll be up by maybe 1%, or I would go right back to break even for the day. Right? You just don't want to do that. You don't want to start your week like that.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens with GJ over here. Gold, nice. We're rejecting over here. Could be closing above 1910. 30-minute candle is going to close in 1 minute. Beautiful. Still respecting this bullish structure. So we'll see what we end up doing over here. And then you get the stock exchange open at 9:30. Let me double check the, I know I have manufacturing PMI. Chicago PMI. All right, 30-minute candle closed above 1910. Exactly what we want. So we rejected that level. 15-minute candle closed bearish over here. 30-minute candle and the 15-minute candle creating a bottom wick right here possibly. Could we pass the high of that candle, and could that be our trade? Our range to retest the high up here is 30 pips. All right. So this is good. You want that deep bottom wick on the 30-minute, as long as it doesn't pass the low, or on the 15-minute. As long as it doesn't pass the low of this 15-minute. I'm just going to get my magic keys ready. Let's see what I'm looking at here. I'm going to be securing most of this. If we do get this, most of this at this wick fill up here, 1914. So I'm gaining $4 on this from 1910, or maybe 1910, but that will be almost 30 pips. Anybody looking at the same thing?
I'm look. I won't be taking it, but I definitely can see exactly why you would take it.
Okay, cool. If you need me to break it down even further, just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Kat, you with us? No, you're doing your taxes.
And where did you place your stops on this one? Below the previous 15 or below current?
I would say below 1910, somewhere in this area
Okay.
over here, below this wick too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need to put it all the way below here. But I think, yeah, I think placing it somewhere around here. Well, let me actually just get this ready for you. With it being off to the side, that means I'm not in yet. Then I'll drag it to where I put it. So it'll probably be right there. Main TP will be right here, but also I'll secure another percentage right there. And I am now in. Let's look at the 30-minute. See how this 30-minute does. Could be retracing a little bit. Now I only risk 1% on this. Again, end of the month, beginning of the week. I took it on the 15-minute NFP week. So we'll see how we do here. Let's actually look at it on the 15-minute because that's where I'm looking at it. So now I am in. I did my stats. I have a 72% win rate now, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's nice.
Pretty
For what, this year?
For a scout, yeah, this year so far.
Nice. So what do you count as, what do you count as, sorry, break evens? Do you count those as wins or losses or neither?
Yeah, I don't count this as anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's wins and losses. I mean, those are definitely confidence boosters, or you know, I don't look at those as losses or anything like that, but I'm not going to count that as a win.
And what do you count as a loss? Like say you were, because I'm like percentage wise. So like for me, for example, I know anything that's less than like 0.25%, I just count as break even and just scratch it. Like how do you count yours? Like if it's like a really, like if it's technically, for example, a win or technically a loss, but barely percentage wise, how do you count those?
It's still a loss to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, those are still a loss to me, Miles. But at the same time, in my mind, stat wise, I count that as a loss. In my mind, if I manage that well, that's a win to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a confidence booster. It's like, damn, I listened to what I said I was going to do, and I did it. Right? So that's definitely something that I consider a win in my book. But stat wise, that's not a win. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Modify my order. 3. Close this. Not yet. I think I'm gonna close a little bit right here just because I'm we'll see what we're at. Yeah, just because it's the 15-minute. If this is the 30-minute, waiting for a little push. Now, also, what I'm going to do is move my stop loss right at like 1910 over here. Did this trade make sense so far to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't closed anything yet. I was thinking about doing it right here. But we'll see where we're at. Let me see the 5-minute. 5 minutes looks good. 5-minute, as you guys could see, had a little fake out over here, passing higher highs, higher lows. We did retest this area over here, but if we start closing below this area, right, like somewhere in here, then I'll be managing. It'd be sick if we just took off.
Yeah, you never know. You could too with the last. That's the thing with the last 20 minutes or so of the 4 hour. You could always get that big push or get stopped out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, we do have that 4 hour coming.
what would be perfect is if we got that for you, if you got that 4 hour, if the 4 hour closed about like that 1920 area, then you'd be laughing. Just let that thing run.
Yeah, so. I just secure a little piece. That was actually a great point, Miles. As we like retested this area right here, I secured like 50%. Stop loss is still in its original spot, but I wanted to grab a little piece of that before the 4 hour closes. Again, always keeping in mind that the conditions of the trade and the conditions of where we're at right now in the market as far as timing, right? Beginning of the month or end of the month. 4 hours going to close. Beginning of the week, Monday, NFP week, all these different things, keeping those into account will help you stay safe in the market. Also, Tiff, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think also what will help you is the fact that like if you keep in mind again that I have 2 or 3 trades per day to take in the market. Wow, I just forgot what I was
I
gonna.
know it's.
What?
Oh no, I thought you were gonna say. No, I thought you were gonna be. I thought you were gonna say something about it taking off after you secure it. I was like, I hate when that happens. When you
Well,
right when
that
you
happens
secure
a lot.
50. Yeah.
That happens a lot. No, I was so concentrated on this trade that I forgot what I was gonna just tell Tiffany. I hate when that it just like slips your mind.
You were saying something about 2 or 3 trades a day.
2 or 3 trades a day. But also I forget. I don't know. That'll come to me. It's what happens when you don't get as much sleep. This is looking good for that wick fill so far. Two or 3 trades.
If this trade went against you, how would you manage it? Just because I know for this trade, obviously the stop loss is quite tight. How would you? I guess you'd probably just kind of use the 5 minute, and if you don't like what you're seeing on the 5, then just close it out.
Well, we are on the 5 minute right now, so if we start to see this level get rejected, right, and closing below, maybe I could take a little piece off, maybe like 20%, something like that. But I'm definitely closing 50 if we come back to my entry over here. Right.
I know. So I mean, so I guess I was asking, like, so when you first entered, like, what was like when you entered, were you completely fine with losing the full 1% if the trade went against you?
Well,
okay.
No, only because not the percentage wise, but I never let my trade hit my full stop loss unless like it's just a freak thing and prices drops, right? But I couldn't tell you the last time I let my trade hit my full stop loss. I'm always managing risk and always losing less than I plan on losing.
See, and in this trade, sorry, Steph, I was just going to ask, and in this trade, what would you have like? What would you have looked for to close to reduce your risk in this situation with the stop loss being so tight? Like, what would you have looked for?
So, do you remember when I drew this horizontal line here on the 5 minute? So we ended up rejecting this level right here, where we were, we passed the high of that candle right away, flipped bearish, created this bottom wick over here. We filled this wick over here with this candle to the right, right? And then we came up to retest this level, closed bearish at this level, and rejected this level hard, right? Then we had 1910 monthly and weekly level. We ended up faking that level out, strong bullish candle, another bullish candle with a wick to fill. Bottom wick formed on this candle, past the high of that candle, pushed all the way over here. But when we were in this, if this candle right here, which passed the high of that candle, which was the entry, so really you could just put that right there. If this candle flipped bearish and closed back in this range right here, I would have closed 50. If it just came back in right, and wicked in and then came up, then I would have been fine with it, right? If we just got that wick, because that happens with gold a lot. But if it closed back in this range, that's where I would have closed 50. Makes
And what
sense?
if it didn't? Yeah, but what if it didn't close? Like, so let's say while you're in the trade, in the first minute of that 5 minute, it comes down, breaks the previous 5 minute low. Would you close everything or close 50 at that point? Or like basically I'm saying if you see that heavy bearish momentum before you get that 5 minute close.
Are you saying as it's like, can you see the way the arrow's moving, or it just shows when I
Yeah. No,
okay.
I can see.
So it's like pushing here, pushing here, pushing here. You start seeing it like tank right here. Normally when it gets to like this wick right there, I'll just close the full thing. It's just a psychological thing and a rule for me. I never wanted to hit my full stop loss. Even if it does, it's not catastrophic. I'm not over risking here, but it's just like I don't want to hit my full stop loss.
Gotcha.
It's almost like an ego thing. I do not want the market to beat me. You know what I'm saying? So this looks nice. Now I'm going to secure another little piece. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to secure a little piece. Only because the 4 hours closing soon. Close another 50. And that's a good start to the week. Stop loss at break even. So what did I do? Right here. Wish I held on to that a little bit longer. This is what we were talking about, Miles.
I know. So it always happens. I'm like, should I close a little bit? Should I leave it? I just want to wait a bit, and then I'll close it. Right when you close it, boom, it takes off.
It happens. It's all good. As long as you make money, baby. All right, close 50%. Right there. And then just close another 50%, stop loss at break even. So how did this trade make sense to you guys? Yay, nay? Do you need me to explain a little bit more? We got about 28 pips on this. Close another 50%. 20 pips. I think starting tomorrow, again, we were talking about this too, Miles. You journal, right? Yeah, and you have great like descriptions in your journals and stuff like that. I've been at a very contradicting point in my trading, my personal trading, where there were things that like my original mentor was Raquel, right? So there were many things that we would hop on a Zoom and he would tell me that I knew I was not at that level yet. And that comes down to he doesn't need to journal all his trades anymore. And he only needs to back test once a weekend, like once every Saturday, just to keep his eyes trained. And he doesn't have to back test every single day as he used to, right? And to me, I never really understood that. Just because I was always in that mode of I backtest every single day. I journal all my trades. I put a lot of description into my trades. I was at that level at that time. I wasn't at his level. I didn't see the market the way he did. And I'm at a contradicting point where I'm always about leading by example, right? I'm always telling you guys do this. And if you guys are doing that, I'm doing the same exact thing. But I'm at a point in my career where I feel like I don't even have to journal nearly as much. Or I don't need to put as much description in that description part on Trello. I could just take screenshots and know exactly what I was doing. So there's going to be a point that you guys get to that point. Again, the only reason I'm not, and I would be doing this if I had it, but my time is so valuable and it's used for you guys, right? Hopping on Zooms, doing everything that we do, also for the driving business as well. There's a lot of things that I'm doing throughout the day where it's very hard for me to get to these journals and to journal all these trades. Same thing with the back testing too. I'm always reviewing my trades, especially when I'm up in the city, stuff like that. But the back testing, sitting at my computer for hours at a time, I don't have that time anymore, right? So there's going to be a point in your careers where you're going to get to that level. Just don't let it be yet. Do not get too comfortable yet. There's always more to learn. But the reason I was just saying that is because I think I'm going to be journaling a lot more on these live streams because we have these 2 or 3 hours together that I'm sitting at my computer and I could be doing this. Right. So I'm going to be journaling, like starting tomorrow. I'll be journaling some of these trades on the session with you guys like I used to, just so that you guys understand what I'm doing. You guys see how I journal, and also I have the time to do it, and I could actually do it with you guys now. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah, no, for sure. I think for me, I don't think I mean, I guess never is a long time, but I think it would be a very, very long time until like I would not journal, just 'cause I know like my personality is I can get to if I allow myself, I can get an ego. So just to keep myself in check, I'd probably be journaling for a while because I'm, like even when I hoop, like I'm one of those, like if I bang like 2 threes, like I'm pulling from half, and like you know what I mean. Like I can definitely let my ego get to me, and so and for something like trading to keep myself in check, I could see myself definitely cutting down on the descriptions a ton, and then like you said, maybe just doing like the screenshots because like at that point, it could be pretty redundant, and like, especially when you don't have the time, like you said, like it just doesn't really, it's kind of unnecessary if you don't actually need to do it, right?
I hope you realize how valuable that is, that you're catching yourself and you realize how much your ego can kick in. Like not a lot of people do that. A lot of people ignore that and they let the ego take over. But the fact that you know that, now you just need to stick to it and understand like, yeah, my ego is going to creep in a little bit, or I'm going to think I'm a little bit too good for that. I was the same exact way. Like when Raquel was saying that to me, I was like, I don't, it's going to be a long time before I'm even at that level. I said the exact same thing. I feel like, so it's good that you're at that point and you realize that you're going to be journaling for a long time. I'm still going to be journaling for a long time. It's just past couple of weeks or past month or two, it's been so difficult to get into my own personal trading and stuff like that. But at the same time, my eyes have gotten so much more trained and I've gotten so much more confident in everything that I do in the market now that it's almost like I have enough journal trades. I have enough history that I can go back to that I don't really need to do that as much right now, but I'm still going to be doing it. And like I said, I'm going to be doing it on the live streams. You'll see me journaling as well starting tomorrow if we take a trade tomorrow. But yeah, just so you guys know that there is a point that you guys are going to get to where you're going to be a lot more confident if you put the work in. And all three of you guys definitely do. Tiffany back tested a ton this weekend. Miles, you just did a ton this weekend. Kat puts a shit ton of work in. You guys put work in, and you guys are going to get there. Just keep the confidence, no overconfidence, but keep the confidence in yourself that you guys are putting work in and get more and more better by the day, by the week, by the month. So
Yes,
I did not even realize what time it was. It's 8:50. I think there was a lot of value in today. We broke down the charts, took a nice winning trade, broke down psychology, stuff like that. It's a good start to the week, but understand it's the end of the month, beginning of the week. So just stay intact, stay confident, and also stay composed when you're in the market and understand when it's time to trade and when not to. But guys, let's have a hell of a week this week. I apologize this weekend. It's been not normally the way I run my weekends because I'm so used to putting so much work into the business and trading and all that stuff that, Miles, you'll see. Are you guys engaged?
No, we're not.
Okay. So whenever you get to that point, you're going to see what kind of weekend this is. It's kind of nuts. And it gets frustrating a little bit when you can't put as much work in. And I got all these DMs from you guys, but I'll be getting to those DMs today while I'm in the city and everything, and be reaching out to you guys about Zooms and stuff like that. But I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. I look forward to it. As always, have a great day, productive day. Stick to your routine. What was that?
Sorry, Steph. Can I ask you a quick question before you hop off?
Yeah.
I was just wondering with the gold trade, or not this specific trade, I guess kind of just a general question. Do you think, because I know your strategy is obviously heavily based on being able to cut your risk very, very early. I guess it's kind of an opinionated question. Like, do you think that if someone had a strategy that was a bit more rigid in terms of their stop loss and TP, that they could trade gold, for example, like with the tight stops and take a trade like this, for example. Like the reason why I ask is because I know, like for me, what works for me is being a bit more deliberate about my TP and stop loss, because when I get into trades a bit too much and I just cut things really early, like it can kind of spiral and make me want to re-enter and stuff like that. So basically I'm trying to ask you is, you know, do you think that with a style like mine, which isn't really predicated on, you know, closing really early and cutting your risk extremely early, that, you know, this type of trade, for example, with a tight stop loss on gold, do you think that could still work? Or if you were to do that and, you know, be a bit more rigid, do you think that you probably just make sure you're only taking trades with like on the 30-minute with a 30-minute stop loss, or like a 20-pip stop or something like that?
My thing is like like you have your general setups, right? And you have your general rules, but every setup is so different that it's so hard to like answer that question. Does that make sense? Where like every setup is in every situation, like that's why like Rakil always talks about market fluidity. You have to be fluid in the market and know, like over time you're gonna see when you can. Let's go back to the entry and where my stop loss originally was, which was like somewhere around here. In the beginning of my career, I would have never been comfortable putting my stop there or here or below the entry candle. I would have always had it like all the way down here, right? Over time, the more you journal, the more you study your journal, the more you back test, you're going to start to realize there's certain times, especially around the time that I took that trade with a lot of volume, a lot of bullish volume, right? A lot of fear in the market that's going to push gold up, that you can have a tighter stop loss where you can risk a little bit more, because I risk based on percentage, not by lot size. So with a tighter stop loss, I can risk a little bit more. Does that make sense? Is that answering your question?
Yeah, basically, long story short, it's kind of just an intuition trade. It's just intuition from, you know, the experience that you get, that kind of allows you to make that call on whether, you know, this could be a good time to do it or not. So yeah, no, that does make sense, because yeah, there's times now where I do feel like that, but obviously like my win rate doesn't support that feeling is consistent enough. So, you know, it's just sit out but yeah, no, it makes sense that the more experience you get, you'll be able to, I guess, listen to that voice a bit more, because it will be more accurate, and you'll be able to have the data to support that it's more accurate. So
just know that you're always going to be evolving, and know that I am still way more comfortable with GJ than I am with gold, with stop loss placement, with entry, with all that stuff. I am way more confident on gold now, but I'm still like really in key with GJ. Like I could read GJ like a book now. That's how it feels. With gold, I feel like I'm pretty much getting to that point. I'm very close to that point, but I'm still, you know, hesitant a little bit. You still feel that pull of like, should I do this? Should I not do that? Right? That second guessing, which is very natural. TP hit, beautiful, almost 60 pips. You still feel that pull a little bit, but at the same time, over time, with the work that you put in, you're going to get there. With the persistence and constant strive to be getting better. Now, there is, and we can go over this privately too, but you guys all know this, but this may be a different, these may be different terms that you've heard before, but you guys have internally motivated people and externally motivated people. Externally motivated people are those that have that car that they want to buy. They have that house they want to buy. They want all these things. They want to get rich. They're doing this to get rich. But once they get rich, they meet that threshold of where they wanted to hit or be at. Once they get there, it's over. Game is over, right? Internally motivated people are people that constantly want to be getting better every single day. They're chasing their previous self from the day before. They're chasing their self from last year, or they're chasing their future self, right? Matthew McConaughey is his best man speech, or not best man speech, is too much wedding shit going on. His best actor for Academy Award. He was saying every time his hero is 10 years ahead of him. because he's always chasing himself 10 years ahead of himself, right? So that those are internally motivated people. I can confidently say that I'm an internally motivated person. I constantly want to be getting better. I want to learn more about this market, right? There's way more that I can be learning, especially about fundamentals. Like I'm always learning about fundamentals, but that's where you guys want to be. Don't be so caught up in, I can't wait to get to this point. Because once you're at that point, I promise you, you're going to wish you could go back to the beginning and get into that grind again. Especially if you're an internally motivated person. But does that make sense to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
So always keep that growth mindset. Always want to be getting better. And you guys are going to be where you want to be a lot quicker than those externally motivated people, because they don't have the drive to wake up every single morning and get to the charts or backtest or journal or study other people, ask questions from the mentor, right? Participate in the group. Like all those things are going to contribute to you guys being successful traders over time. But I am hungry as shit. I am going to head off. If you guys have any questions, just reach out to me. Like I said, I'll be getting back to your DMs. If you guys want to Zoom, feel free. Let's hop on.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Thanks for hopping on. Good shit, Miles. Tiff, good job today. I would say it's safe to say you're done for the day now.
Yes, I'm done.
Good shit. Love it. Kat, you have a great day, okay?
Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Absolutely. This will be on YouTube soon. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.